Good afternoon. It is Fun Friday with Jen. Got caught up in watching some news and almost lost track of time. So a little late getting stuff up. Oh, it's not. I'm not late. It's 3:59. I'm good. But anyway, I was watching the news a little bit. A couple of friends of mine pointed out that we've got, there's a fire in the Oakland Hills, and right now, Northern California and the Bay Area is under red warning, fire flag warning watch. So it looks like this is crooked. So anyway, got caught up watching news. Hey, Shannon, how are you? Let me get this situated. Yeah, well, you know how it is up here in the Bay Area, Shannon. You know, we get dry weather and all of a sudden, you know, we've got to be careful for wildland fires, and, you know, it's just how we live and how we roll here in Northern California. I've got to figure out why let me see. Lift this up, see if it helps a little bit, makes it, yeah, you're under red flag warnings too, Shannon. Yeah, it's a little scary. All right, you know what? I'm gonna mess with this just a wee bit more. Sorry about my arm there. Oh, my wrinkly, crepey arm. Oh my goodness, crepe erase, here I come. You know, I remember living down there, Shannon, and the Santa Anas, and those were scary times when you'd have the Santa Anas kick in. And it was pretty windy up here, and I've been up here for 20 years, and I just heard them referred to as the Diablo winds, sort of like the Santa Ana winds up here. But anyway, yeah, I remember the Santa Ana winds when I was going to school down there. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and get started. It's 4 o'clock. And welcome to Fun Friday with Jen. I'm sort of working around my mess from craft fair season. I've been in craft fair mode for a while, but now I'm really getting into it because I've got about 2 weeks. Actually, 2 weeks from today is the first craft fair, and I won't be doing a Fun Friday that day. And then there's another one in November I won't be doing because I've got craft fairs both those Fridays. But I might switch it to like the Thursday before. I don't know. Yeah, that Oakland Hills fire a long time ago, Shannon. Yeah, a lot of people I think are on edge about that right now because we are under the fire warnings, red flag fire warnings, and because there is this fire right now, it's only about 10 acres, and thank the Lord, CAL FIRE has usually gotten really good about being on top of things real fast around here. They've gotten the water tankers in sooner, and things have worked out. So the fires haven't been too bad up here. They're catching a lot of them early, so that's a good thing. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And I'm excited because I wanted to share with you the Autumn to Remember photopolymer set, which is a part of the release from, let me see if I can put something underneath this to tip it a little bit. All my blocks are being used to get rid of that glare. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, it's from the scrapbooking brochure that they have. And this is a stamp set that is meant to be used for scrapbooking, or that's how it was designed to go with the scrapbooking kits. But they can be used for cards as well, because I'm a card maker at heart. And so I'm going to show you how I use this, as well as the Designer Series paper Sweet Autumn Days, which I think I used a couple weeks ago. But I'm going to use it again today and share with you some of these ideas that I've got. So we'll move that across to the side. Let me show you the first card. Originally, I only had one card planned, but then I had so much fun that this morning I thought, you know what, I'm going to make another one. So here's our first card. And this card layout sketch is from Creative Dawn's, or Dawn's Creative. I'll link it in my blog tomorrow. I've used her sketches before. She's got some awesome sketches. And so I had fun doing this card, and this is we're going to be doing the first one. And then let me show you what the second one is. The second one is more of a, what I call a SIP card. It's stamps, ink, and paper, and that's all it is. You really don't need much more than that. And so this is our simple card, and there's no embellishments. You definitely can step it up a little bit, but it's just stamps, ink, and paper. So let's go ahead and get started with our first one. And that's this one here. And what it is, let me show you a variation of this one as well. It's 3 circles from the Stylish Shapes. That's 1 3/4 inch circles from the Stylish Shapes die. It is 3 pieces of cardstock that are 1.5 by 2 3/4. And then I use the hexagon punch for that, for the sentiment. And I used the wood grain, the timber 3D punch, or not punch, 3D embossing folder. You can see there's a little bit of texture to this whole card right here. And then to add texture to the back, to the card base, I actually used Versamark and the stamps from the Autumn to Remember. So let's go ahead and do that one. And I didn't use the stamps on this one. I just left it plain with the crushed curry. And then I used the stamps and the Versamark for the circles instead. So the one I'm going to make is this one right here. I have all the pieces and parts already cut out for it. So let's go ahead and show you. The card base is petal pink. It is 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches. I'll make sure because yep, 4 1/4 inches. Scored at 5.5 and then burnished over. Let me grab my bone folder and we'll burnish it a little bit and we'll set it off to the side. And then we have our pieces and parts. So let's go ahead and put these over. Like I said, I use Stylish Shapes. I don't have that. Oh yeah, I do. It's right there. Sorry guys. Like I said, my desk, you can't see it, but it is absolutely a disaster because of getting craft fairs ready. But Stylish Shapes, I used the 3rd from the middle circle, which is 1 3/4 inches wide, to cut out my circles for this this card. And I took a bunch because I want to be able to play with the ideas. And I'm using the Sweet Autumn Days DSP, which has these great trees, and what else does it have in there? It's got these kind of trees. It's got these cute little woodsy animals. It's got these A-line trees, a grid that's petal pink and pecan pie. And then there's also an old olive pattern and this crushed curry pattern as well that is in this paper. And I just love this paper. So anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use Versamark. And I'm going to use the leaves from this stamp set. And I believe, excuse me, I may have even used the acorn. And let me show you. These are the leaves I'm going to be using. I'm going to use this big oak or maple leaf. I'm not sure which leaf it is. This leaf, and then I might be using this little acorn here. So let's go ahead and get started. And I like this because as much as I love my embossing folders, I just didn't have one that felt like it worked with this. But I don't like just plain cardstock. There's something aesthetic about it that I like. It doesn't feel complete to me. That's not to say that it's not complete. A lot of people I know don't do anything to their card bases, and they have beautiful cards. But for me, when I'm creating, it feels like it needs a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little Versamark on this larger leaf, and I'm going to, let's turn this over and use this side. I'm going to just stamp randomly, and you can't see it yet because Versamark is a clear clear sticky ink, but eventually you'll see a light subtle image from the stamp. So I'm going to keep doing this. I really need to get some, it's on my list, the refill for the Versamark, because I'm using it a lot more, because I'm also doing a lot more heat embossing, because I love the new Wow embossing powders that we have. I've been using them a lot on some of my projects for craft fair. All right, I'm going to use this other leaf now, and we're going to put a little bit more on. I'm just sort of randomly stamping here and there, just to give it a random look. Not everything's facing the same direction, although it looks like a lot of these leaves are facing the same direction. We'll put one in the middle. And then we're going to go ahead and use this fun leaf here. We'll go ahead and hit him on there. Now you can see him a little bit better, and I think it's because he's more of a solid stamp versus the other ones have that distinctive look stamp, which means they have a little texture to them. So, you know, we'll get some of the edges here. And then I'll finish that up. You know what? I might throw an acorn in here just to fill up a few little spots. You know, some of this is going to be covered anyway because of our rectangles and our circles and our hexagon, but I figured I like to give it a little more depth. So, all right. So here's what it looks like. I'm not sure if you can see it really well. You can see now the odd colors. You know what? There's a lot of shade, or not shade, but shadows. Let me see if I can take care of that real quick. Let's see. Can you still see some shadows? There is. Hold on. Let me turn on the light in my room. I've been trying to keep it not as bright for the heat, but I'm going to turn the ring light off of my camera holder, and there we go. That looks a lot better. Sorry about that. All right, so if you can see the ever so light shading that the Versamark shows or brings out when using it on the colored paper. So that's our paper right there. All right, Shannon, let me know if you could hear me, because I just realized I left my Bluetooth speaker on. It's been one of those days. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and set that off to the side. No, we don't want to set it off to the side. We're going to do this. We are going to now place our 3 embossed with the timber embossing folder pieces of cardstock. We've got Old Olive, Cajun Craze, and Crushed Curry. And I'm not sure if you can see the, let's see, you can see some of the texture. But we're going to put those on there. And I think I'm going to go Crushed Curry on top, Cajun Craze on the bottom, and Old Olive in the middle. Now, here's how I have learned, and it's a really good system for making sure everything is even, is you put the first and the last piece down, and then you make sure those are evenly spaced between the edges, the top and the side edge of the card base, and then you can evenly place the, let's see, yep, that looks even. Then you can put the middle piece in, and it helps. So let's see, I want to make sure I'm doing the right side. Yep, this is the correct side for the glue. It's the side that's debossed, which means that the image that you want of the wood grain is actually going into the paper and not sticking up. That's the debossed side, whereas the embossed side is the side where the wood grain is actually sticking up, or your image is sticking up. Let's see, make sure we got that It's almost equal. Let's see. There we go. That looks equal there. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place this equally in the center. Now, yep, here we go. But, so I don't know about you guys, but it's been a crazy week. We had much success in Texas. And enjoyed a good visit with my sister and my brother-in-law. We got to celebrate my brother-in-law's birthday and visit with family and friends. So, and then we found some potential apartments and got more information on schools. So things are progressing for my daughter, and I'm excited to see what the good Lord's got planned for her. So I'm excited for this. So anyway, but it's good to be back and stamping again. I did take some stuff to try and work on over the break, work on while I was doing in Texas, but it was one of those things that I got some of it done, but not a lot done. All right, so here's what I think we're going to do. We've got to decide, do we want the owl, the fox, or just, I feel like that's more than one piece. Yep. Or do we want the trees on here? And I'm not quite sure. I think I want to go with a cute woodsy animal, but I think I'm going to go with the owl. So we're going to put the owl there, and we're going to put him more towards the right side of that old olive, because our hexagon punch with the sentiment will be on the right side. And then we want to use colors that are off, that aren't exactly matchy-matchy with these two colors. So I don't want anything with crushed curry on here. So I've got to decide, do I want to do the Cajun Craze because it's down here, and maybe this pattern with the old olive, or do I want to do this other pattern with all of the colors down here? And you know, I almost think this is too dark. I think I like putting the old olive here and the Cajun Craze up here. And then we'll go ahead and do our sentiment and put it here. So let's go ahead and attach these guys, and we'll use a little glue. Make sure I'm not missing any comments. All right. And I want these going up. And I like to sort of stick it and make it stick off just a little bit of the edge of the rectangle. It's ever so slightly. We'll do the same thing with this old olive, which is funny. It's the back side of this color, of this Cajun Craze pattern paper. And then we'll line that up so it's just hanging over ever so slightly again. And you get to see a little peekaboo of the other colors down here. And then we're gonna put the this cute little I don't know, do we want to go trees or do we want to go owl? My daughter's yelling from the back I should put the fox on there, but she has no idea what the fox looks like. But he is cute. But you know what? He's too much of the Cajun Craze, and that's too much of that color there. So I think I'm going to go with the owl because it brings in our pecan pie color. So we're going to go with the owl. He's a cutie. I'll make another one with the fox on it, and I won't have as much Cajun Craze out there. All right, we're going to do just like with him, like we did the other one. We're going to sort of put him in the middle, make him stick over just a little bit. And we're going to set this aside now because we're going to do our stamping. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually, we're going to stamp it 3 times with the sentiment. And I'm going to show you a trick with doing that too. We're going to use the thanks from the Simply Said stamp set, which is a great basic stamp set for anything you want to do card-wise. You can do celebration cards, thank you cards. There's 2 different kinds of fonts, 2 different ways to say thank you, 2 different ways to say birthday wishes, happy birthday. Just a note or thinking of you is the same way. You also have the let's celebrate and the yay sign sentiments. So this is an excellent basic stamp set that it would be perfect for anybody starting new or anybody who wants a lot of versatility. This works. I mean, you can use these on any card out there. So we're going to use the thanks on there, and I'm going to put my hex gun right here in the middle, and I'm using it and cut it out with the punch. And I'm using this punch here, our Heartfelt Hexagon punch, and I've punched it out, and I'm very vanilla. And now I'm going to use my 3 colors that are being used throughout this card, and it's the 3 colors that we had in our rectangles: the Crushed Curry, Old Olive, and Cajun Craze. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick which color I want in the middle, and I don't want it to, let's see, how did I do that on my original card? Okay, so that's how I did it. What I did is I took the card and I did the center sentiment in the same color it was here. So we're going to do Old Olive in the center, and then I flipped these 2. So then we're going to do Cajun Craze on top and Crushed Curry on the bottom. So when you're doing this and you don't have one of those systems for lining things up, then what I do is I stamp in the middle, and then I got a little ink on the corner, and then I go ahead and I stamp. Let's see if I can see if I've got this. That looks centered right there. And then I'm going to clean it off, and I'm going to stamp 1 color above and 1 color below. Let me get my cleaning, my cleaner. Oops. I'm going to end up with ink on my hand, on my arm. Forget. All right. So let's go ahead and do Cajun Craze on top. All right, Cajun Craze on top, and I'm going to go just above it, just a little bit, and put that there. And then I'm going to clean it off again because I'm going to a different color. And then we're going to go Crushed Curry on the bottom. All right. Crushed Curry right down here. Line it up. There we go. And we've got, I love how this works out. We've got our 3 thanks, but we didn't have to worry about using a special tool. We just did the bottom and the middle one first, and then you center it, everything else around it. So let's go ahead. We're going to use our foam adhesive sheets. And we know how that goes. Hashtag Team Foam Adhesive Sheets. And we're going to put it right there. And I'm going to put it right about there. Yep, that looks centered. And we can, did I put them away or did I keep them out? I used, believe it or not, I used some of the 23-25 in color opaque sparkle gems because the Wild Wheat one actually looks very similar. And I'm looking for my take a pic tool. There it is. Looks very similar to Crushed Curry. It's not exactly Crushed Curry, but it looks close enough to it that it gives it a little sparkle. But we're going to go ahead and put just some right here. Right there. We'll put one right there. All right, there is our first card. Matter of fact, I think, I forgot to cut. So let me go ahead and get my very vanilla. And there's my cutting board. I have to do the inside of the card, right? Got to do the inside of the card. So let me cut my very vanilla for that real quick. Oh, that's the, excuse the arm. I just realized that that arm is like way in your picture. So let's go ahead and move this here so I'm not reaching. And then we'll go ahead and stamp. Oop. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to use, let's see, what did I use on the inside of the original one? Oh, I did paper on the inside. All right, let's go ahead and do, you know what? I think I'm going to stamp this one though. And I think I'm going to use this little leaf here. So let's go ahead and do it in, I'm going to do Old Olive. We're going to do just a little bit there, just a little bit there. And you know what? I might do it up here too. I've found that I like doing that. All right, there we go. And you know what? Yeah, that looks good. So we're going to go ahead and do that and put this on the inside of the card. I hope everybody's having a good thing. I cannot believe that we are, what, today's the 18th. So we're over halfway through October already. And before you know it, 2 weeks from today, actually, it will be November 1st. Blows my mind. All right, there's our inside of our card. And here's the fun thing. Let me show you something. This card layout can work with your cards no matter how you're going to have them open. If you do a 11 by 4.5 like we did for this card, so it opens from bottom up, it works perfect. If you have it like this and you do the 8.5 by 11 where it's scored in the middle, although I didn't do the inside of this card, so it's sort of blank on the inside. But the same layout works perfectly for a card that is your standard open card, where it opens left to right, or right to left, rather than bottom to top. So it works perfectly either way. So I hope you love that card. Let me get a sip of water. Now let's move on to our second card, which is all it is paper, ink, and stamp. It's what we call a SIP card, or a simple card. It's just, yeah, stamps, ink, and paper, SIP. All right, so this one, I'm going to show you the same way that this layout can be done for a card that opens from bottom to top. This one, both of my cards open bottom top, but this one, what it is it's 5.5 wide, 4.25 deep or tall. Whereas this one that we're going to do opens bottom top, but it's 5.5 tall and 4.25 across. So let's go ahead and get started with that one. So country, we have Cajun Craze, 11 by 4.25, scored at 5.5. And there we go. There's our base, our card base. We'll go ahead and do that. This is the inside of our card. And then let's go ahead and stamp that one. And I think we're going to use Cajun Craze on this one. I just sort of want to use Cajun Craze, even though our card base is Cajun Craze. So we'll do this. And I love these stamps because they have that distinctive look to it. So let's go ahead and, I think this side looks like the better side. We're going to just do the stamp right down here in the corner. Isn't that pretty? And then we're going to go ahead and glue it in. So we'll put it inside this stamp, or inside the card. Oh my goodness. You wouldn't know that I got like 8.5 hours of sleep last night. Maybe I work better off of less sleep than more sleep. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and put it in the inside, and then we'll work on the outside of our card. And I'll give you some tips there too when putting paper piecing together. All right, there's the inside of our card. And we'll put this off to the side. Now we're going to paper piece, because if you notice, I've got the Designer Series paper on the top, and I've got Very Vanilla on the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I've cut this so that our piece is 4 inches wide. So we're going to have a 1/4 inch mat all the way around, 4 inches wide. And then, how tall is it? It is 3 inches tall. So that means this one is 4 inches wide and about 2 1/4 inch tall. Let's see. Nope, it's 2 inches tall. Yeah, because we want it to be, oh, we wanted that to be, we're going to have a little bit wider, looks like. Our matting's going to be a little bit wider at the bottom than on the sides, but that's okay. It looks nice. Anyway, so here's my tip on this one. When you're paper piecing things together, turn the paper over so you have the back and you match them up, line them up like this. And then you're going to take another piece of paper, and it can be scratch paper. I use some of the scratch white paper I have, and I'm just going to cut a little piece off. And then I'm going to put my Stampin' seal on it, and I'm going to use it to bridge together my 2 pieces that I'm paper piecing together. So I'm going to make sure they're all aligned, and then I'm going to put it on the back like that. So now when I flip it over, there's no mistaking what it, no mistaking and shuffling, or no shifting. That's the word I'm looking for. No shifting of the paper. So let's go ahead and we're going to put this here. And we have another piece of old olive, and it is about, it's 3/8 of a, 3/8? Yes, 3/8 of an inch wide. And we're going to go ahead and paste it right there. So I'm going to go ahead and use my silicone mat because the adhesive comes off of that. It doesn't stick. And we're going to put this on, run the Stampin' seal there, and we're going to just put this across. And then we're going to go ahead and trim this paper off the edge. I always make it when I'm putting a piece along, like, oh, I can't talk. When I'm using paper a small piece of paper to trim or put on the inside of paper, I always trim it a little bit longer so that I can trim it perfectly to match the length. Otherwise, you run into problems. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to use 2 stamps. And what I've done is, because the H block, I have an I block, but that was retired, and because the H block is the perfect length for 2 of the stamps in this set. Let me show you which 2 stamps they were. The H block, where it's perfect for this leaf garland, and for the Bountiful Blessings sentiment. And we're going to use this sentiment and this leaf garland. So I have them on 2 different sides of my stamp. And we're going to take the Beautiful Blessing, or not the Beautiful Blessings, the Old Olive and the garland. We're going to stamp it like this. And here's the thing, because these are photopolymer, you can sort of see through them. So I'm going to go ahead, and you can either put them on separately or try and do what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to sort of line this up in the middle of the green. Oh, I didn't do it quite as well. It's a little crooked. So maybe it would be better to take it off and not have 2 stamps on there at the same time. But let's go ahead and we'll take it off for the next stamp so I can line up my sentiment better. And then we're going to use Cajun Craze, and it's going to say Bountiful Blessings. And we're going to go ahead and center that. And there we go. All right, so Bountiful Blessings, and we're going to go ahead and center this in the middle of this page here. Yep, right there. Let's put some adhesive on the back. Now I'll show you, this is what you do. This is just, like I said, it's stamp, ink, and paper, and it makes a beautiful card. You don't need all those extra embellishments sometimes. If you're just getting started, this is the perfect way to make your cards with just stamps, inks, and paper until you get the hang of it and you find that you love it, and then you can start adding all those fun embellishments. But we're going to go ahead and just do stamps, ink, and paper with this one. And there is our card. And you only needed the stamps, the ink, the paper. I know I'm sounding redundant, but it's the easiest way to make cards, and it's the best way to jump start into card making. and your paper trimmer so that you can do it, and adhesives. But you don't need all of the gems. You don't need all of the ribbons. You don't need all of those fun things that add extra to it. Now, if you wanted to upgrade this a little bit or step it up, what we call step it up, we could add, let's see, some additional things. Now I've got these adhesive back, you know what, I'm going to use these because this is crushed curry. This is our adhesive back dots for days. And I'm going to use some of these here to step it up a little bit. So where's my, I just used it, my take a pick tool. Can't find them, so we're going to go ahead and use our scissors. And we're going to pull them off here. My snips are going to be better for this. And I think I'm going to use, let's see, we'll put one here. We're going to put, that was one of the smaller ones. We're going to put one of the bigger ones down here. And actually, I like that. Usually you do it in groups of 3 because it's more pleasing to the eye. But I really like how it offsets on these. You've got them in the corner. So here is card number 2 that we did out of our 2 cards today using our Autumn to Remember and Sweet Autumn Days Designer Series paper. So let me go ahead and pull out all the cards we've made this afternoon. I'll set out the 2 cards we made this afternoon. You let me know which one is your favorite. Now, if you're watching this on replay, great. Leave me a comment and let me know what is your favorite card. Is it our stepped up simple stamps, ink, and paper, or is it the one that's got all the extra fun dies, embossing folders, and punches that we've used? I'd love to know which one is your favorite, the thank you or the bountiful blessings card. Go ahead and put it in the comment if you're watching the replay. And I would love to know what you like. In the meantime, if you have missed this and you're just catching the replay, you can watch the replay here and get all of the details, all the measurements for both of these cards at my website of www.stampin with Jen. That's Stampin with 2 N's and Jen with 2 N's. And I'm going to hold this up so you can see it a little bit better. Stampin with Jen. And you will see that I will have it, all this on my blog tomorrow. And also you can find me on Pinterest. I believe it's generic, JENNERIC 94 is, and then I have Stampin' Up! Creations is one of my boards, and that's where I put all of my my Pinterest boards. But I will, yeah. So anyway, there's that. I think that's about it today, folks. I appreciate you joining me. Catch me next week for Teach It Tuesday on Tuesday afternoon with my friend Tammy. I believe we're doing more thankful cards, but we're using iconic imagery, which is a really cool bundle that is an online exclusive. And then the week after our Teach It for Tuesday, we are doing Christmas cards, and I will be doing them in the non-traditional Christmas colors, and she will be doing traditional Christmas colors. But that's what we've got coming up on Teach It Tuesday with Tammy and Jenny. And then next week is mystery stamping, because it's the last Friday that I'll be doing a, actually it's the last Friday of the month already. Gosh, boy, October's flown by. But anyway, so I look forward to you joining me. Have a great afternoon. And again, you can find all the details for these 2 cards on my blog, www.stampinwithjen.com. Stampin is with 2 N's and Jen is with 2 N's. So have a great weekend. Bye-bye.